Hello and welcome to my Kog'Maw Lethal Tempo build and play guide. In this guide I'll be showing you how Lethal Tempo works, why you should use it on Kog'Maw, when you should use it on Kog'Maw, and how to use it effectively on Kog'Maw. Then I'll go over some build paths, what they do, and finish off with some strengths and weaknesses. To start off, Lethal Tempo is an attack speed steroid of 40% at level 1 and 110% at level 18. It goes off after a small 1.5 second delay and lasts for 3 seconds. Attacking an enemy champion will extend the duration of Lethal Tempo to 6 seconds. It has a 6-second cooldown that does not start until the duration expires. You use Lethal Tempo on Kog'Maw because his W deals percentage max health magic damage, which means every time you hit someone you are taking a percentage of their health off, so the more times you hit them, the more health they lose. The faster you hit them, the faster they lose that health. Since your Q passively gives attack speed, it also makes sense to take Lethal Tempo so that you remove the attack speed camp of 2.5 attacks per second. So, when should you use Lethal Tempo? Generally, you will almost always use Lethal Tempo on Kog'Maw since it synergizes really well with his kit, his W, but for the times when you are unsure whether to take Hail of Blades or Lethal Tempo, if they have a lack of priority targets, such as Vayne, Jinx or Jhin, or they have tanks that stack HP like Cho'Gath and Mundo, or armor, Malphite, Rammus, then you'll want Lethal Tempo to burn through them as quickly as possible, as you're dealing percentage max health damage rather than physical damage. There are numerous ways to proc your Lethal Tempo to get its activation timer started. Recently I've just been using an empowered auto from W to activate it, as the duration plus the activation timer are still shorter than the duration of his W. However, using your E to start the timer allows you to catch up to them and kite them along its path easier, while starting with Q shreds their resistances for a bit, allowing more damage to come from your autos with W. After level 6, you can just throw 1 or 2 ults to start it and then run them down, whichever suits the situation at the time. For the build paths, I've experimented with a variety of different builds and different orders. Currently on patch 11.11, I've been starting Cull into rushing a Guinsoo's and trying to fight as much as I can with a max W dealing 7% per auto with an attack speed of 1.5 attacks per second. This means that after 2 seconds, you've essentially hit them with 4 W procs, and you still have another 4 seconds of Lethal Tempo to work with, which would deal about 12 W procs or 84% of their max HP pre-mitigation, and that's just from the W, not including your base AD. My build usually goes like this. I start Cull into boots and daggers on the first back, upgrading to a Guinsoo's and Berserkers as soon as I can, then getting a Phantom Dancer into a Kraken Slayer, followed by a Blade of the Ruined King, and finally a Runarn's Hurricane. If they have high magic damage dealers, you can replace the Phantom Dancer with a Wit's End, and then replace the Blade of the Ruined King with a Phantom Dancer. Only replace the Blade of the Ruined King with the Phantom Dancer if you don't need lifesteal and percentage current HP damage. Overall, Kog'Maw synergizes really well with Lethal Tempo. It lets him shred through tanks and squishies as if they're just the same thing. However, his weaknesses, he still maintains his inherent weakness of being Kog'Maw. He has no mobility, is very squishy, and extremely easy to shut down. If he doesn't get ahead near the start of the game, he tends not to do well at the mid-game, which is when the games end. Coming up next is a Hail of Blades Kog'Maw guide. Let me know in the comments below what kind of Kog'Maw iteration you would like to see next. If you want to see me lose streak live, come head over and follow me on Twitch.